and anyone else who is not able to make it can watch the recording. So I will definitely be able to answer any questions you have with this small group, and hopefully it pertains to the others. And certainly they can reach out to myself or Kennedy, who is also helping lead this program for Mississippi County, if they have any additional questions. So thank you for attending. We'll be going over the notice for funding availability for Mississippi County Infrastructure Grant Program. All applications for this program are due at 4:30 p.m. Friday, April 21st, 2023. This grant requires a 25% match, and entities can receive up to $200,000 for this program. So that means with the 25% match, the entire program could cost up to $250,000. Anything above that $250,000, with $50,000 covered by your entity, $200,000 covered by Mississippi County. Anything above that total would be required to be covered by the grant recipient. This grant will also be on a reimbursement basis, and we'll have a process for submitting for reimbursement that we will present to grant recipients at a later date. So I will go ahead and share the notice for funding availability on my computer, and we'll kind of walk through the various pieces of it. All right, so this is the cover page. We'll move on to page 2. So this just gives a brief overview of Mississippi County ARPA allocation, their total amount that they received, and their amount that they're dedicating to this infrastructure program. Again, as stated earlier, up to $200,000 for cities within the county, and it can only be used for infrastructure projects under the Arkansas Constitution that are allowable, and we will dive into those allowable uses later on, but it is very narrow in what we are allowed to cover. The applicants can submit a maximum of 2 programs, and it must be eligible under the American Rescue Plan Act, and it must follow all required uniform guidance and federal requirement. We'll dive into the eligible projects. So it's very narrow what is allowable due to the Arkansas state constitution. And so that can be land acquisition, site preparation, road highway improvements, rail spur construction, water service, water treatment, employee training, which may include equipment, environmental mitigation, and training of research facilities and the necessary equipment. And if enough projects are submitted, the county reserves the right to be able to increase the funding made available. So before I move on to important dates and scoring, are there any questions regarding the basics of the project as well as the eligible pieces? All right, and I'll provide my contact information at the end of the presentation, and so if anybody has additional questions, they can reach out. All right, so all projects cannot exceed beyond 2 years of the date of the grant award to conform with period of performance requirements under the American Rescue Plan Act. Today is April 7th. We're having the informational grant workshop. Friday, April 21st, all applications are due no later than 4:30 p.m. There are a number of other items that are still to be decided. We will get you guys that updated information as soon as possible. And then we will dive into the actual application. So the first thing I want to highlight is the SAM UEI number. Most of you guys receive ARPA allocations of your own and are required to have an active registration. This will be required. Individuals are not allowed to receive ARPA funding above the micro purchase threshold unless they have an active SAM UEI registration. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We have basic information about the entity submitting, what is their application type, the types of projects that you're doing. Again, you are allowed to select multiple. If you have any questions about which it falls under or whether it would be eligible under one category or another, feel free to reach out to us. You'll document your project total costs and your total match. And again, if your project is over 250,000 in total, any of that additional match will be covered by your entity. And then if this project is phased, and discussing the phase nature of this, again, projects need to be completed within that 2-year time window. And then we have basic information on the applicant submitting. If the preparer is a different entity from the one actually that is the applicant, if additional information for if there is a partnered program between 2 cities, and feel free to discuss, discuss that piece with us. If you have a partner and you're not exactly sure who should be submitting or how you should submit it, we can certainly discuss that with you. Then we have the project description, and you want to be detailed enough to provide, a thorough overview. Again, you might provide previous analysis that was done documenting the need for the program to go along with it. Certainly make it clear what you're trying to accomplish with your program. The project type and how it fits into that specific use. We'll want that here to make sure that it fits within the Arkansas State Constitution. Clear information about what area is to be served. Looks like we have another guest. I'll add them. Information about the area to be served, about the community to be served, and I'll stop there for a second. Hi, Molly. Happy to have you on board. We're recording this meeting. We'll send it out to everybody in case we miss a piece that you have a question on. Feel free to ask questions about anything that we've gone over, and at the end, I'll take questions on all of the notice for funding availability and eligible projects as well. And then any partnered city and a narrative about how how you're coordinating with that city and how the collaboration fits. For projects with a construction, again, with that time frame limitation of 2 years, we want to make sure that we're funding projects that are going to be completed within the appropriate amount of time. And then the program budget. And so you want to break down your expenses. And if you have any questions about how to break it down, or again, some grants may be applying with detailed information about how funds will be spent. Some of them may still need to go through engineering. We completely understand that. So provide all the detail that is available to you. Detail will only help your program and show how it will happen and how it will happen within the funding that you've documented. And then we require all of these to be electronically submitted. We do need a wet signature on the actual on that electronic submission. So you can scan or take a picture of that final document, make sure it is clearly legible. And then at the bottom we have the certification by authorized representative. And then we have the completeness checklist for you guys to fill out to ensure that you have everything needed to submit. We don't want to deny any applicants because they missed a section that was required. All right, so before I move on to the application evaluation process and scoring, are there any questions about the submission and what is needed in that submission? All right, and again, feel free to reach out via email that will be provided at the end of the meeting. For evaluating, the score will be out of 100 total points. So to start is the detailed project information, establishing that your project is eligible under the Arkansas Constitution and provides a detailed, description that provides enough information to us to be able to understand how it fits and that it is a good project. If the project addresses an infrastructure need, does it have a correlation with the growth of the population, and does it promote the population growth? So it could be catching up to population changes that have already happened, or it could be future population change that you're looking to support. Letters of community support also will help, provide 10% of the scoring total. So make sure you get those from a variety of stakeholders to support your submission. Does it leverage other funding? So this could be other match funds, it could be other ARPA funds, it could be local funds, it could be a partnership with another entity that another city or another entity that you're working with, and as well as your match. If you decide to match more than the required 25%, then that could be in your favor. If it's a larger project that goes, if it was a $500,000 single project, again, your match would be a lot, larger than the 25%. And, it helps leverage these funds and help them go farther. So that will be 15% of the scoring. The time frame is a very important piece. We want to make sure projects happen within the period of performance for ARPA, and that if any project can happen, it could, we want it to happen in time so those funds can be readjusted. So funds do not get returned to the federal government and can instead be used on other uses before the American Rescue Plan Act period of performance is over. The project demonstrates collaboration. So this is if you have partner programs, or if you're doing, maybe it's not an official partnership, but it is supports efforts that are happening with other cities, in Mississippi, that can be factored in as well. And then you're supporting documentation and ensuring that any additional support you have, whether it's assessment surveys, studies, construction plans, etc., that help clearly show what is happening with your project. And they will be reviewed in the order that they're received. And if your project isn't eligible, we will notify you via email, and they will be distributed in priority order, and partial awards may be considered for lower scoring projects at the discretion of the county. So any specific questions to the scoring of this grant? All right. With no specific questions on either of those items, I will open it up to everybody in the meeting to ask their questions, and I'm going to put my email in the chat as well, so anybody can follow up.
Can these
All right. Go ahead.
Can these funds be like if we have a current project that we're working with USDA or economic development or something like that? Can these funds be used in conjunction with those funds?
Yeah, so I think it would depend on what the funding structure of that was. So if it's a multi-phased program and you're looking to get funding for the second part that you don't have funding for, that could be eligible. It would depend on the type of program you're doing. We want to use this to match and make more things happen. In many cases, it would be a great idea to use this as a match for other funds that you're also applying for. And again, I could see various situations where you may then use these funds to apply for other grants, but that would only be the case if it is part of a larger program. You still have to contribute your match, and you couldn't have another. You only use our amount in only use a different organization's amount and then claim that you're using, our grant to match theirs and their grant to match ours. So just be aware of that piece. But in most cases, yes, we encourage you to use this as a match fund. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, we've got a project with USDA on wastewater, but of course it's been going on for 3 years, and the cost overruns are going to be a lot. We're going to end up having to cut back the project because it's been approved, but we know that it's not going to get funded. For the funds are not going to be able to do everything that the project originally was allowing because of the costs of everything's going to be overrun. So we were just wondering if that was the case. Is this something that maybe could pick up part of those costs if it was a cost overrun or something?
Okay. Yeah, I'd want to verify the specifics, and we likely, want additional detail regarding those increased costs and their limitations. So, happy to review. It does sound like, if you reach out and send a little information, we can bounce it off in Mississippi County and make sure that there's something they'll be looking to fund. But that does sound, like it is something, a very real limitation that these funds could help you out. And it is not just, oh, we'll have them pay for something we're already going to. You did not have enough budgeting availability.
Well,
So
our engineer, Wayne Manley from Miller Newell at Newport, and I've sent him all this information so he could be kind of apprised of the process and everything. And so we could kind of keep on board with each other on what's going on. So.
Okay. Yeah. Could you, as far as follow up, do you want to shoot me an email, or would you prefer I reach out to Mississippi and see the generals if this is something that they would consider?
I mean, either way, I can send you an email in the first of the week and just kind of maybe I can get
Sure.
Wayne to do something to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. And then if you want to get a hold of somebody there at Mississippi County, to let them know.
Yeah. If you just send me honestly a few sentence summary of the situation, and then I'll pass it on to Mississippi and confirm. I don't want to state unequivocally that it's something you can do, despite the fact that I think it would likely fit into what they're saying. So we'll clear that up and get back to you if you shoot me an email.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Problem. Any additional questions?
No, that's all one I had.
All right. So with that, I will end, and then if we have any specific projects that you want to discuss outside of this or one-on-one with me, you can do that, and then feel free to reach out via email.